In a world where your data is constantly under attack, one company stands for your digital freedom. Introducing CALIX Solutions, your gateway to ultimate online privacy and secure cryptocurrency trading. Meet the Liberty laptop. With its modified OS and advanced tracking prevention, it's your shield against surveillance. Access restricted areas, use recommended security software, and browse with confidence. Your digital footprint? Virtually non-existent. For the crypto pros, we present the Crypto Laptop. Pre-configured on premium hardware for secure trading. Optimized for your favorite wallets and exchanges, it's the fortress your digital assets deserve. Both laptops come with expert individual training and support. You're never alone in your journey to digital empowerment. At CALIX Solutions, we put you in control. No more worrying about data breaches or compromised transactions. Ready to join the revolution? Visit calixsolutions.io and choose your perfect laptop today. Plus, become an affiliate and earn while sharing the power of digital freedom. CALIX Solutions. Unlock your digital freedom. Give us a call or text at 702-845-8276 or visit us directly at calixsolutions.io.
And we are live, and the light is bright on my face.
It's not as bright as what was on before. I mean,
oh yeah, that was like,
yeah, that was morning. That was first morning sun blasting through the window. Yeah,
and I'll tell you what, Vegas has the prettiest sunrises.
Oh yeah, they do.
The window looks out at what I guess is Red Rock, whatever you call it, like mountains or whatever. And it's gorgeous. The sunrise was like orange with like this bright red. And I'm like, wow.
Well, that's burning away the scum from the city.
Yeah. That's all the smell of the homeless.
Unhoused.
Unhoused. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be offensive to the homeless.
Yeah. No matter how many times I go there, anytime I walk those streets, anytime I'm down on the strip, I feel like I need a shower after I go back inside.
Yeah. I was originally going to get a hotel, down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to put my club, down there.
No.
No. I'm looking at the Red Rock area. Over here, it's more high end and a lot less like people shooting and running over each other.
Well, that and you don't have the weasels handing out the handbills on the street.
Oh, and I thought Broadway was bad. You can't throw a rock without hitting a hooker.
Oh yeah.
And
wait, what you corrected me the other day. They're sex workers.
That's right. They
because that makes it so much better.
Sex workers.
Yeah, it makes it so much better. They can unionize.
Yeah. I wonder what their meetings would be like.
Oh yeah.
I vote that a blowjob shouldn't last longer than 15 minutes. Can I get a second? Oh my God. No, I mean, Vegas, the strip is basically a cesspool of humanity. And
it used to be you could go down there and people watch and it wasn't bad.
Yeah. And, a lot of people, a lot of genders, down there. A lot of very creative genders.
Oh, you mean the full 37?
Yes. I thought there was like 100 and something now. Isn't there like a cat gender or something where they like dress up like a cat or something?
Oh boy. No, I've not heard that one, but that's not my circle. So
What? You don't have any, cat friends?
No,
Oh, you're not real.
no, you know better.
Well, plus you're allergic to cats, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's I think I'm actually going to put the club in this area because you'd be amazed how many ex-football players live in Vegas. It's, oh my God, they're everywhere.
Really?
Oh my, I was at a place yesterday and the salesman, I'm sitting there talking to him, and he's like, yeah, my son's ex, football player, retired, was in the league for 8 years. And he played for the Vikings and blah, blah, blah. And then as he's sitting there talking, he was like, oh, yeah, that, and a lot of boxers.
Oh, yeah. A lot of them get their licenses out of Nevada.
Yeah. And I mean, as long as you, number one, I hate going to casinos.
Yeah.
It's pitiful.
Yeah, it
because
is.
You see people who aren't financially secure.
Have no business being in there.
No.
Yeah, they got their walkers with the green tank.
Attached. Oh yeah, walking around.
Yeah, and smoking, and you know that they're playing. Yeah, and they're.
That's my future, Patrick.
You're playing for the big hit using your prescription money.
Yeah, it's pitiful. I have seen people walk from like slot machine to slot machine, checking if there's any credits.
Yeah.
I'm like, you may want to leave. You may have an issue. Put that money into Bitcoin.
Yeah. That's the modern day version of stupors, which they used to have. I mean, at racetracks, be people bending over, checking.
The one thing I do like about Las Vegas, well, I mean, there's several things I like about Las Vegas. Don't get me wrong. This and cryptos and fucking Bitcoin are popular here. Everyone that I have actually talked to so far is like, your club is going to kill it. Because no one knows where to really go for it. They have no idea. And there's a lot of money in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of money. That's a lot of, hey, it's fucking $20. It's $20, But my grandfather used to say blowjobs actually built Vegas. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, Bugsy Siegel, but yeah.
Yeah. The good old mafia.
Yeah, no kidding.
Now we just have the federal government. And that's what I want to talk to you about. What do you think of Cash Patel actually getting confirmed as the FBI director?
Oh, I think it's great. I couldn't be happier. First of all, because it scares the old guard of the FBI, the senior management, who have been as corrupt as hell for decades.
Yeah.
And it kind of cordons them off. Now he's going to have an effective plan to create a management team to get in there and to rally the rank and file agents to do what needs to be done. But to root out what has become a weaponized law enforcement agency. Yeah, that's his number one goal.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I do not want to see, I do not want to see reprisals.
Oh, as in,
Revenge.
well, I mean, some of them you got to charge because they broke laws, like legit laws, and they're corrupt.
Yeah. Now, if you have people that flagrantly violated the laws, then prosecute to your heart's content. But that's Bondi's responsibility. Pam Bondi, the AG, is supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Patel,
well, I think all he can actually do is like recommend.
Well, he presents the evidence and the case.
Yeah.
And you're right, recommend. And she decides to go after it or not. And ultimately, she's the arbiter of whether it's thumbs up or thumbs down on guys like Merrick Garland and any member of Congress.
And Schiff should be handcuffed.
He should be.
That guy is so corrupt.
We just have to make sure that his fingerprints are on things. That's all.
Well, that's what I like about her. She lives by the book.
Yep.
And if it isn't chargeable or she doesn't have a clear cut win, she won't take it.
Hold on. That's me. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, but as for him, I just want him to clean up the FBI, just like I want the friggin' CIA. I mean, we haven't had a good flush since like the church hearings in 77, wasn't it? 1977.
Yeah, right around Watergate.
Yeah.
That was they were going after Nixon for violating the rules of law by bombing Laos and Cambodia, and that was Air America.
CIA.
And I don't, to be honest with you, I don't think there was anything wrong bombing Laos and Cambodia because the Vietnamese were using the roads there in order to extend their supply line down to the west of Vietnam and come back, hook up into the south. That's how the Tet Offensive was able to take place. That's how they were able to go after Saigon in 72.
I have a completely different view. I don't think we should have ever gotten involved in Vietnam.
Oh, I agree with that. But if you're in, then you're all in. And we weren't all in. We weren't all in. McNamara and the Rand think tank, those guys, they undermined the efforts. Oh, body count?
Yeah.
A body count?
Yeah, and wasn't there there was a general who actually came out and they're not letting us win this war.
No, that wasn't Westmoreland. I don't know who it was, but it wasn't Westmoreland. Probably.
I don't remember because they literally would. I'm trying to remember the name of the general. He literally said we could have wrapped this up in 6 months, but they wouldn't let us hit like the real fucking people in charge. It's exactly like ISIS. How freaking Obama actually took over the day-to-day, offensive of the military and wouldn't let them hit any of the oil tankers out on that highway that were like, why aren't we? This is how they're making their money. Why aren't we just blowing up their trucks? And he's like, no, we don't want, civilian casualties of the truck drivers. I'm like, no, these aren't civilian, truck drivers. This ain't local union guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was such a bunch of crap. Because ISIS was created by the CIA. Because ISIS was originally the Free Syrian Army, I think. And they just all of a sudden they're like, ISIS. And who's like, who the fuck is ISIS? Oh, it's this new, terrorist group. No, that's the Free Syrian Army. And they just renamed it.
That was the wasn't the Egyptian Spring, was it? It was.
I know what you're saying. Damn it, what do they call it?
Not the Arab Spring, it was.
Yeah, the Arab Spring, where Twitter, with the help of the CIA, went over there and got everyone riled up. And then, what was that one gal who actually got raped in the crowd?
Yeah.
You remember that?
I remember her. Yeah, she's still a journalist.
Well, God bless her heart.
Yeah.
From what I remember, it was vicious.
Well, then they kicked out Mubarak, who was the Egyptian. Yeah, Laura Logan.
Yeah.
They kicked out Mubarak, who was the Egyptian president, and then they went after Gaddafi. And that was, you're right. I mean, that was all CIA orchestrated.
Yep. Because let's remember Hillary.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's dead. It was like that guy literally loved his country, and all he was trying to do was get away from the dollar and sell his oil outside of the dollar. And they're like, well, we can't have that shit. So,
there's a special seat in hell for that woman.
And plus, the event that sent me over the raging fucking cliff was fucking Benghazi.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Oh,
Where they left our guys?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. The ambassador. Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't even like the ambassador. But the things they did to that poor guy, I mean, and what?
So Christopher Stevens, I think was his name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was crazy, we had special operations troops that were like a half a mile away, and they were asking if they could go.
No, they were told to stand down.
Yeah, they were told to stand down, and actually, I think it was like 2 or 3 of them said, fuck you, we're going. Because they knew that the whole embassy was just being slaughtered. Oh.
Yeah.
And Hillary, when she was like, what difference does it make now? Like, bitch, these are Americans. What difference does it make now? Oh,
Well, she was irritated that somebody would even think to pursue the truth, which would implicate her for her violations of oath and office.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the whole thing was Obama and Hillary were running weapons up to ISIS, and that's what fucking kicked all that shit off.
Or as that weasel would say, ISIL.
Yeah, ISIL, so he could
ISIL.
That anyone who knows history knows that ISIS and ISIL, the reason Obama said ISIL was a slap in the face to Israel.
Israel, yes. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if you've heard this yet, but I heard from a damn good source that Russia is going full fucking Bitcoin. They're basically doing what Trump is going to do and they are putting the mining facilities right near every oil and every electric plant.
Well, I mean, they can burn off the leftover on the oil. And then I'm sure they're going to be setting up hydroelectric because they have those. Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense. And, let's face it, Chernobyl would be a great spot. You've free nuclear power.
Oh, absolutely. And will we go back on a gold standard? No, and we don't want to. All right, and I'll tell you why. Because people don't understand how much gold is out there. In El Salvador, they found a gold reserve in one mountain that's $3 trillion worth of gold.
So if you're holding it and hoping that it'll go up, the introduction of that $3 trillion in gold just diluted the value per ounce.
Yeah. Plus, according to Elon, we ain't got no gold. There ain't nothing in Fort Knox. And if we ain't got gold, that's why Trump's like, well, fuck that. Because gold is the original elite currency. That's why our founding fathers went with silver, because gold is so centralized at the top where all of the rich people, a lot of people, they think they own, like gold IRAs and shit like that. That's all derivatives. That you cannot call them and say, send me my gold. They'll laugh at you and go, that's cute. We'll send you cash. It's all fucking derivatives. And that's why Trump and Russia and the BRICS nation and the Middle East, they're buying up Bitcoin like it's going out of fucking style.
I'm surprised that they've waited this long, or February 21st, to even approach Fort Knox for an audit.
Yeah.
I mean, it should have been day one where they went in, and so that in the event that something happened, they could point to Biden and say, well, this is your Lexington hotel.
Yeah. Absolutely.
This is yours, JoJo.
Yep. Look, job, JoJo. Yeah. And it's how we're going to have a strong dollar is we're going to back it with Bitcoin, some gold, maybe if we have any, and natural resources. Trump is literally bringing us back to 1780, where the federal government and our currency is actually backed with silver. Well, not the founding fathers went with silver because there's more silver, or there's less silver than there is gold. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but if you know anything about Chocolate Mountain in California, or the Grand Canyon, what's really in the Grand Canyon? There's so much fucking gold. It's why the Aztecs, everything was made out of gold, because
it was there.
So much of it.
And there are a lot more applications for silver as well. It's not just a commodity that I hold. Its industrial usage is significant. Without it, there's so much manufacturing that couldn't take place.
Yeah.
And
I mean, gold, well, I mean, people are going to find out the real uses of gold. But Trump doesn't want us actually backed by gold, because gold is so manipulated and so held. Number one, if Trump announced we're going back on a gold standard, instantly China would be the most powerful fucking country in the world. You know how much gold China's got? They're not allowed to ship gold out of China.
They've been hoarding it for centuries.
Yeah. If Trump revalued gold against the dollar, our dollar would collapse. It would go from, I think, let's see, gold's right at like $2,980. So it's almost at $3,000. If he revalued gold accurately, you'd be looking at $20,000 an ounce. And that would crush the dollar. All of a sudden we'd be devalued, because if you think about 1934, when they revalued gold from like 21 an ounce to like 34, all they did was they devalued the currency. So if Trump went, and mind you, the Federal Treasury values gold at $34 an ounce. If they reset that value to $20,000 an ounce, our dollar would be it'd be toilet paper. Now, mind you, those of you who own gold, you'd have a ton of money, but really it'd be a ton of toilet paper. Because then we value eggs actually based on the new gold standard, which would put eggs at about $1,000 a carton. And them chickens would be making some fucking money.
They would unionize.
They would, oh, hell yeah. They'd be walking around, cocks on strike. Cocks on strike. No eggs, no peace. So really, Trump has no choice. He has to back our currency by something that is completely decentralized. And from what I hear, which is accurate because I know the people working with Trump to set this all up, he's letting all of the states accumulate as much fucking Bitcoin as they can in their reserves before he makes the official "we're buying Bitcoin" announcement, because he wants to recapitalize. That's what Trump's people don't realize. The reason Trump calls Bitcoin the new oil is several reasons. Oil was the lowest level of production in America. We got rubber, we got petroleum, we got kerosene, we got gasoline, we got diesel, and yet everything has plastic. Everything has oil in it. Pills you take, those capsules, that's made out of petroleum. And so now since we basically unpegged from oil once oil went negative a few years ago, if you remember that, well, that was the U.S. fucking dollar unpegging from oil. And now that Saudi Arabia has officially not re-signed up under the petrodollar agreement, what people don't realize and what's coming, we now live under a floating currency. We aren't pegged to fuck right now. That's what's screwing up the bonds. That's what's screwing up everything, is they printed, what was it, like 40% of our currency in the last like 4 or 5 years? Damn.
Talk about toilet paper.
Yeah. And Trump, guys, we're going to get a lot of money flowing into the country because Trump just announced, well, he's hinted, but this is coming. He's going to force everyone who owns short-term bonds to go into long-term treasuries. That is going to kill the dollar. Or no, that is going to push people into Bitcoin because they're not going to want to hold a 30-year American note for 4%. That's basically guaranteed to lose money. So, Patrick,
Yes, sir.
do you see any other solution that Trump could use to save the dollar, yet get away from the Federal Reserve?
No,
No.
there really isn't. There's not another path. And I think I would say that the BRICS experiment started us down that path.
Yeah.
And it was a smart move on their part to undermine the U.S. I mean, it was a good move, but instead of going in the direction that they did, had they taken the time and started investing in Bitcoin back then, they'd be in a much stronger position to dictate than they are now.
And this is exactly what Trump is doing. He's using the Bitcoin to recapitalize all of these underwater programs. The whole government will be recapitalized using the gains of the Bitcoin. Because if you think about it, if all of us are actually paying Social Security, right, and all of the money we are actually paying into Social Security purchases fucking Bitcoin, how much is Bitcoin gonna be when I retire? See, that's the whole little secret. The government never invested any of the Social Security capital.
Oh no. That's a feeding trough for the government.
Yeah. Wait a second. They put it in a lockbox.
Oh, yeah. No, that's what Hillary did with Bill's junk. That's the only lockbox that they had. No,
a lockbox where everyone had the key.
Yeah. That was the community trough there. Still is.
Yeah.
Although it's being ratcheted down. I've always, being the jaded skeptic that I am, always, surmised that when it came time for me to get my fair share out of Social Security, that it wouldn't be around.
Well, you'll get it. How much it'll buy you?
Yeah. Well, I don't plan on taking it until I think 70, because that's when
170. Is that what you said?
Yeah, 170.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame it. Well, you should be accumulating like interest or something.
Well,
that's what's such a joke. They never invested any of it. So
no.
That's like putting it in a savings account and going, gee, I hope there's not inflation.
But honestly, there hasn't been anything that you would really want to invest in, is there? I mean, other than could they realistically invest in anything other than notes and bonds, treasury notes and bonds? I don't know. With Social Security, without being called into question with respect to a conflict of interest. I think ethically they would have a problem there. But now, I mean, cryptocurrencies? And
No, I'm not talking about cryptocurrencies. I'm talking about Bitcoin.
And I'm talking about all, not just, but
Okay.
I mean, you could just say Bitcoin just for the sake of conversation here. You could say that, and I don't. It's a new animal with respect to what Social Security has been doing or not been doing for decades. It certainly opens up the avenues, and now more so than ever.
Yeah, hell, if they would have just invested that money in, I don't care, like gold or something, put it somewhere, because treasuries, except for like the Reagan years when they really shot up the interest rates, like 18% or whatever.
Oh, Carter had, prime was over 20.
Yeah. That's how you attack inflation.
Yeah, I remember those days. I was having conversations with people going and telling them, they're going, no, prime isn't that high. The hell it is. Go look it up.
So,
but I would say this: the statement that you're making is a truthful one if the premises that you're operating on are honest.
yes,
And that your best intentions are for the benefit of the people that are contributing into this fund. On the other hand, if you're a sneaky SOB and you want to use that to fund other things, you don't want to tie it to anything that would have to be liquidated at some point, because you do have to do that, and you have to have reserves, and there have to be checks and balances, and they don't want that. It's not a slush fund then.
Yep.
So,
yeah, and well, I think that's what Elon, because I mean, Elon I saw an interview of an ex-IRS employee who was let go. And he was very upset. And this was his reasoning. He said the reason he got fired was because of his performance. His rebuttal to that is, I've worked here for 30 years and I've never had a performance review. Well, maybe that's the fucking problem.
And your managers should be let go for not doing that.
Everyone gets a performance review every year.
That's the responsibility of management. Yes, you're right.
It's maybe the reason. Well, the shit they're finding where they had. We're just hitting employees right now. Wait till we get to the contractors. There are more contractors than there are employees.
I believe that. You don't have to pay benefits.
Right. When they wipe, I'm telling, there are going to be corporations that shut down. I mean, look at Halliburton. Without the federal government, they ain't shit. Because we blow shit up, Halliburton goes in and rebuilds it. And we pay for it.
I'm going to put something out here in the chat. Doge.gov is a website that's been created.
Yes.
Go there, click on the savings tab, and there are the receipts. If you've heard people go, who was it? That little weasel Republican representative from California, Eric Swallowwell.
Swallow well. That's good.
He's out there talking about what Doge is doing and how we have no idea. They're talking about all these savings, and we don't know what it is. Well, go to this website, and they actually have the receipts printed that talk about. I mean, things. This astounded me. The federal government's subscriptions through Bloomberg.
I saw that too.
Through the roof. Well, they have copies of all the receipts of the subscriptions that were canceled by all of the departments. You name it.
By Bloomberg.
Yeah, you name it. I mean, the stuff, and there's a bunch of other subscriptions as well that are gone. So, yeah. Anybody asks you, anybody says they don't have the receipts, anybody says, well, I don't believe the savings, this is where you point them.
Yes. And I warn you, you're going to want a glass of wine, some sexy music playing while you're looking at this website.
Oh yeah. It's fun.
Because it will definitely get you turned on.
It's fun.
You read through it, and you can just imagine all of the bureaucracy screaming,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the other part of this, too, I mean, you have these folks are caterwauling about what's taking place and how Elon is unelected, and they're ramrodding the shutdown of all these different agencies. Well, and they don't have the positions to do so. They aren't given the mandate by the people. Well, they are. There are political appointments, and they're made by the president, and they serve at his discretion. Yep. And this includes cabinet level department heads and other senior level officials. And they're tasked to carrying out the administration's agenda and creating policies. And on the other hand, there are career employees, and they have civil service protections. They're permanent positions, and they're tasked with executing these policies that are set by the political appointees. And if they fail to do so, the notion that they can stonewall, retract policies that have been created by those who were elected, it puts them on very shaky grounds and grounds for insubordination and termination. So, adios, my friend. That's being tossed around regularly.
What I think is ridiculous is all of these bureaucracies and bureaucrats who are bitching. Why hasn't because just like Elon said, you shouldn't be upset that I'm doing this. You should be upset that the bureaucracies have never done this.
Right. What were your committee positions for? Why weren't you guarding the chicken coop? Why? Why didn't you do your job?
Why were 40% of the IRS sitting at home, not working, waiting for instructions or some horse shit?
Right.
But yet they're getting paychecks every week. But that's like some New York shit.
Well, it's growing up in Chicago. I saw this on a regular basis. It's a patronage army.
It's exactly like the mafia. That's what I've always said. The government is just the largest mafia, and they have uniforms.
I would make the argument that it's the other way around. The governments have been around for a long time, preceding the mafia. Tammany Hall in New York ran this same operation. Yes. And they preceded the mafia. And the mafia went, well, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for us.
Yeah.
And they did the same thing out of Boston, and they just did the same thing out of Chicago and Los Angeles. Yeah, this is.
Anyone who knows anything about how the mafia, and remember, the mob and the mafia are two different things.
Yeah.
The mob is the Jewish mafia. The mafia is the Italian mafia.
Sicilian, yeah.
Right? Now, there are Irish, and other, but really you have mob, which is Jewish, and mafia, which is Sicilian. And there are, what do they call them? Where you basically get a paycheck. It's actually called a no-show job.
A ghost job, yeah.
Yeah. And when you're a mafia boss or a high-ranking person in the mafia, you work for 15 or 16 different companies. You get a paycheck from 15 or 16 different companies, but you don't show up. It's a no-show, job. But yet, your insurance, you get paid every week. When I was in St. Louis, that I knew guys over on the hill who worked for the company I worked for, and I never saw them on a fucking job site. They weren't a writing boss. That's what they were labeled as. But I'm like, number one, they don't even have a fucking truck. They're all driving around in their Buicks and their caddies. Yeah, it's all just a bunch of horse shit. The government, because look what we've learned about what happened with JFK.
Oh, we haven't learned half. We haven't learned half of it yet.
Oh, I know. They basically are like, yeah, CIA had him killed through the mafia, but no big deal. Shit happens.
But, yeah, what's a presidential assassination among friends?
Exactly. And so it was ran by Lyndon Johnson. So we have him on tape saying it. What's the matter? Like Hillary said, what does it matter now? That was 50 years ago. Hell, almost. Right. Hell, that was longer than that, wasn't it? Oh, wait.
What are you talking about? 64,
1963?
Yeah.
And not only did they kill him, a few years later, they shot his fucking brother. They were trying to wipe out the whole fucking Kennedy family.
Right.
Well,
and they realized all they had to do was let Ted drive.
God, who said that? It was Ted Kennedy killed more people.
No, that's it. Yeah. I said Ted Kennedy's car has killed more people with his car than I have with my gun.
Yes. So you ran off the bridge and then walked home.
Yeah.
And didn't tell anybody.
Yeah. Oh, and you left a young lady there. Oops.
Yeah. Yep.
No laughing matter there.
And if you look at the Kennedys and you look at Lyndon Johnson was the most corrupt motherfucker that him and Roosevelt. I could go on for hours. We are doing a show for our CALIX Solutions people in about an hour, right?
Si, senor.
right? Because where I'm at, it's 8 o'clock in the morning.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I had to wake up mucho early. And at 11 Central, we are doing our CALIX Solutions cyber stuff. Can you give the people a hint of what we are going to be talking about?
Oh.
And where they can listen to the show.
Well, let me do the rundown on where they can listen to the show from.
Okay.
If you have one of our laptops, you can go to the portal, gain entry to the portal, and if you need that access, get a hold of me, and I'll make sure that you get it. I will double check and make sure you are a client, but we'll make sure you have access to the portal. You can get in there, and in the portal, there's a link called CALIX Cyber Suite. And in there, you can end up subscribing to one of two services. One is the cyber stuff. The other is the helpline. The helpline gives you access to a live chat for any questions that you have. And that's for either Liberty laptop or the crypto laptop. And the same thing for folks who might want to get the cyber stuff subscription. And in the cyber stuff videos, we talk about cryptos and we talk about security. And today, one of the topics that we're going to discuss is phantom hackers that are draining bank accounts. We also have some information about the Javier Milei LibreGate debacle that took place, a meme coin episode gone astray.
He's in a little bit of trouble.
He is in a little bit of trouble. It was bad enough when the Hawk Tui girl did it, but now you got the president of the country taking part. And the cat who's running this, Davis is his name, got a kind of a questionable track record in terms of getting meme coins up and going. I will say this about meme coins. Bad idea.
Yes.
But anyway. And then there's some stuff about some of the biggest scams that have taken place recently. A Saudi prince was impersonated. Indian authorities are freezing assets for certain folks. A Bermuda premier is impersonated. There's a bunch of fun stuff going on there. Also, there's some, I have a little article about scammers using fake transactions simulation sites to steal crypto. So come on over and watch that. All fun. And it's a live video. You end up getting a link to it prior to it, but it's also in the archives, so you can check it out if you happen to miss it. So.
Yep, absolutely. All righty, guys and gals, we will see you in about an hour if you are a CALIX client. And if you're not a CALIX client, that's just silly. Because, guys and gals, as we go through this, holding your cryptos on a hot wallet, not so good. Especially on like Coinbase or like shit. Well, an exchange. Let me put it that way.
You had me.
Yeah. No. What? Because I'm going through something with PayPal right now. I have about $100,000 worth of Bitcoin sitting on PayPal because I get excited and I'll actually like buy because I get silly. And I I like to hold a lot of my reserves in actual Bitcoin so I capture gains. Well, PayPal's let me take out like $1,000 a day and moving it to my wallet. It's going to take me forever to get this off my damn wallet. But what can you do? Okay, everyone.
Yeah, that's $100. That's 100 days.
Yeah. So need this. Well, luckily, I think I have a solution, and I'm just going to move it out another way. So, all right, everyone have a great day. Have a great weekend, and get yourself a crypto-only laptop.
We're here.
Yeah. All right, Patrick, I'll see you in an hour.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I wanted to say that if you get a crypto laptop, you get a Faraday bag with it.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that deal.
Yeah.
Yep. So then you can hold your laptop in the Faraday bag.
Yes.
In your safe.
Yep.
So 100% safe.
And we're doing the same thing with Liberties. Liberties will end up getting a Faraday bag too.
Sweet. All right. Love you guys.
Don't want you left out. All right.
And we're out.
Welcome to the future of luxury travel, where cryptocurrency meets paradise. Introducing Bitcoin, Ben all-inclusive beach resort, nestled on the pristine shores of El Salvador. Every room is a gateway to adventure, complete with your personal 4x4 vehicle, scooter, and jet ski. Picture yourself cruising along scenic coastal roads, feeling the thrill of freedom. Glide across crystal clear waters on your private jet ski, embracing the rush of adrenaline. Return to your luxurious suite where comfort meets cutting-edge technology. Indulge in world-class amenities from gourmet dining to rejuvenating spa treatments. Experience the vibrant nightlife with entertainment options that cater to the most discerning tastes. Invest in a resort that's not just keeping up with the times, but defining the future of travel. Join us in creating the ultimate paradise. Contact us at 562-526-0813 and become part of the future of luxury travel.